We're all so excited to have you here today and to help you find what you're looking for. Dr. Rich is a double board certified facial plastic surgeon. He's performed well over 10,000 cosmetic procedures of the face and neck. He's also the Wall Street Journal best-selling author of the book you were given today. Dr. Rich lectures all around the country and he takes lots of media requests. We'll show you some of that video footage in just a moment. Now if you'll take a second to silence your phones, we'll get started. And after those highlights.
Castellano is wearing something new.
Dr. Rich Castellano money. Dr. Richard Castellano says laser lipolysis gets his vote.
Dr. Richard Castellano.
We asked Dr. Castellano to come in to Dr. Rich Castellano. The board-certified facial plastic surgeon is one of the first in the country to use Google Glasses while he's working on patients. Dr. Rich Castellano says that's one main reason behind this new trend. Less expensive, less invasive cosmetic face procedure. So she turned to Dr. Richard Castellano for an image lift.
Thanks to Dr. Castellano, and I just feel like an early dollar.
Dr. Castellano says he's seen a spike in patients like Elizabeth who feel they are being discriminated against because of their looks.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to Dr. Rich Castellano.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Please give a big hand to our amazing team that put all of this together. I cannot do it without them. It takes a lot of work to put these things together, this type of party going on. So we're really so grateful to be here because we've been doing this for so many years. We've had thousands of patients, and we love not only having fun getting to know you and to meet you, but really helping you make the right choices that can make a tremendous difference in your life, a wonderful transformation. So we're excited to share that with you. We are very excited to share what we can do, the latest treatments that are out there, right? Isn't it exciting? There's a new treatment, seems like it's coming out all the time. You watch on the national TV shows. There's so many things that are new out there, and some of them even work. But which ones, right? Try and read the whole internet and figure that one out, right? That's why we're here, to show you what we have done for years and for thousands of patients. The most important decision that you will make is who is taking care of you. So I am Dr. Rich Castellano, and I'm a double board certified facial plastic and reconstructive surgeon. And what we have done is we have a process to simplify everything. I like to be very practical because it can get confusing and overwhelming. You know what I'm talking about? So that being said, everything that we do for the face and neck, I've got 4 basic categories. Now, before we get into that, let's talk about our appearance. Does our appearance matter? Does it matter to other people? Do people treat us differently based on our appearances, based on how young or how old they think we are? Do people treat us differently? Who's the most important person that treats us differently based on our appearance?
The mirror.
The mirror. When we look in the mirror, if we like how we look, we just stand a little taller, the shoulders are back, we smile more. But if we look in the mirror and we feel like we've let ourselves go, it brings us down. People talk about vanity. Our appearance is a tool, and you can use it positively or you can use your appearance negatively. And that's what I think vanity is. People use their appearances sometimes to put other people down. Oh, I'm better than you. Problem with that, if you're better than someone else is better than you, right? And ultimately, we put ourselves down by putting other people down. You follow me on this? That's the negative use of appearance, and that's what vanity is. But when we use our appearance positively, when we inspire other people with how we look, and we inspire ourselves, there's a word for that. It's called style. And we love helping people with their individual style. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's fun. It makes a difference in our lives. So how do we do that? 4 basic categories that we address to help our appearance. Number 1, if we sag, then we tighten. Simple. If we lose volume, as we get older, we hollow. We just put the volume back in. So tightening volume, we're just putting things back where they already were. If we get sun damage, wrinkles, and sunspots to the skin, we can polish and repair the skin. Those are the top 3. The 4th category, it actually outshines everything else. And that's our behavior. None of our treatments look as good as Mother Nature's free facelift. Right? I can't do anything that looks as good as when we smile. The smile always looks the best. Do me a favor. I want you to turn to who's next to you. Just give them a big smile. Give them a big smile. Don't we look so nice when we smile? And could you feel the energy change in the room? Isn't that nice? That's so nice. Why don't we do that more often? There's some people out there that need to smile a little more. You know what I'm talking about? Behavior matters. Now, smiling is our model. I ask every patient to smile in the mirror when we do a consult. And when we smile, it gives us, it plumps us here. Automatic filler. It does a little bit of tightening here, and it softens some of the wrinkles here. Right? So the smile is our guide. Now, smiling is so important for people. It is the universal icebreaker. When you see a friend, if you haven't seen them in years, or a family member you haven't seen in a while, what's the very first thing that we do? You give them a big smile. You know that we care about each other when you see the smile. When we see a baby, what do we do when we see that baby? You give them a big smile, you talk to them. What happens if that baby smiles back at us? Oh my gosh, oh, look at what they did. Come take a look at this. Everything worthwhile, it starts with a smile. And when we don't smile, we are in denial. Do we have a lot to smile about here? Yes. Oh my goodness, especially considering the weather that came through. Hopefully you and your families all did well through Irma and, Puerto Rico and the Keys and now the wildfires, and there's a lot of things going on in Houston, and makes us very grateful for what we've got. We still have a lot to smile about. So we're going to share with you what we can do with the tightening volume skin. We can help you look younger. And if you want to look younger than what we can achieve with these treatments, you just have to act immature. It works, right? So we're going to share these things with you now. Is the little clicker, is that up here or is that up on the table? It might be right over here. I got my little slide advance. Here it is. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mindy. So what we're going to talk about is how we do these types of treatments, how the power of smile impacts us, because your appearance is so important and so powerful, and it is never too late to invest in yourself, to do the right thing, to make yourself feel good, and to bring out and share your smile. So we're so glad that you're here. Now this is Judy. Can we do the focus on that just a little bit? I think maybe just, where's it my eyes? There we go. And the other way is a little bit. Is that the best? Turn that one more time. I think we had it almost there. It's always in the little tiny detail. The other way, oh, you almost have, was that? Maybe does it need to go a little closer or further back? What do you think? Here, I'm going to run right over here because I just want to see that little thing here. It's up the zoom. There's the zoom here, and then it's on this one right here. There we go. Perfect. Okay, does that feel a little bit better? All right, thank you. And bring it in just a little bit more because we got his shoulders a little bit on the projector there too. He's part of the show. Da-da-da. There we go. Oh, there we go. Hello. All right. So Judy, she's one of our patients. There you go. Get your drink. Judy, that was so nice. You got her a drink. Let's give him a hand for getting her. There you go. What a good guy he is. All right. Judy's one of our patients, and she's a smiler. She has a family. How many people here have a family? Who gets put first in family, by the way? The kids, everyone else. Who gets put last? That's one of the things that we love about what we do. It is your time. We love, it's time to give to you now. Right? We because we can't pour from an empty cup. Judy was such a giver, is such a giver, took care of her family. Bless you.
Thank you.
Judy was a caregiver for her parents. Anyone here ever been a caregiver before? It's not easy. She did this for 20 years of her life. That was nice that she could be there for them, but it can take a toll over time. When her parents passed, unfortunately her husband fell ill, and she was his caregiver for an additional 2 years, or additional 10 years rather. When her husband passed, Judy made a confession to her daughter. She said, you know, I just feel like I've lost my identity. She felt she was always living for someone else. That day, Judy took a look into the mirror, and as she looked at herself, she had noticed the aging changes that she had in her face. And as she was looking, she pulled back on the skin on her jaw, and she liked what she saw. Does anyone here ever do that at home? She liked what she saw when she pulled back in the mirror. She made an appointment, came into our office. I will never forget meeting Judy for the very first time. You know how when you meet people who have been through difficult things in life that the little details, they just don't tend to bother them so much? You know what I'm talking about? This was Judy. So it was very pleasant to meet her. She was very quiet and humble, right? Kind. We sat down. She told me about her family. We looked into the mirror, and as we did, I pulled back like this. I said, how does that look? She says, I like it. I said, some get a little bit less. Some get a little bit more. If you like what you see, you're a good candidate. Now, I will tell you this. We talked about our 4 categories: tightening, volume, skin, and then behavior. There are 4 principles to get the best results. Number 1, you must look natural. Yes? I want you to repeat that back to me. You must look natural. And you will. Number 2, safety. Safety is number 1, but no one's going to do a treatment if they have any concern. Is this going to look unnatural? They won't do it. You will look natural. That's our track record. That's what we do. None of our patients complain that they look too overdone, and none of them complain that they look too young. You must look natural, safety, prevention. We want to prevent future aging changes. We can't stop the aging process. If we're lucky, aging keeps coming for us. It's better than the alternative. You must look natural, safety, prevention, and give you as much improvement as possible. Do you follow me on that? So we talked about these things with Judy. We made a plan that we can do the lift. She wanted to do her eyelids and fillers. Her daughter came with her. And as we were looking in the mirror, and then she looked over to her daughter to give her the look, as if, you know, well, what do you think? Her daughter said, you go for it, Mom. It's your time. So Judy did a laser image lift. She did eyes and a little filler in the cheek, because we lose the volume here. And here are her results. Yeah, yay for Judy. Yeah, let's give Judy a hand. We're so proud of Judy. Looks natural, it's not overdone. Do you notice in the cheeks here how they're a little hollow, and see how we fill those areas in? Okay, that's the filler, that's the volume. Now, I love it when patients come back to the office. We were seeing patients this morning. And I love to ask them, what's the response? What do your family and friends say? No one can figure it out. Did you change your hair? Or you lost some weight? Or well, you had a nice vacation.
You look rested.
You look rested. Some people come out and they say, I love it. No one can figure it out. But some people are frustrated because they say, no one can figure it out. And you will look natural, right? So I love having this conversation with patients, and I'm talking to Judy, and she's telling me these things, and she's smiling more. She's standing a little taller, shoulders back. She was telling me that she was driving with her son. Her son was driving. They got a flat tire. They pulled over to the side of the road. They were working on the tire. Another couple stopped by to help them. And as they were talking with one another, they were talking to her son. Judy could overhear them. She was sitting in the car. They asked, oh, how is your wife doing in the car? She loves being mistaken for her son's wife. She's telling me this, we had a laugh about that. She'd been attending her church for years, and now she's become a greeter. So good to see you. Come right this way. Let me get that door for you. Welcome. It was just so touching, because it made me realize, even though Judy was in her 70s, she didn't look it, she didn't act it, and I realized it is never too late to really discover who we are, to invest in ourselves, to find what we feel is beautiful on the inside of us, and even more important than that is to share it with other people. So Judy is such an inspiration to us, and what we've been able to do for Judy, we have done for thousands of people. And not only do I take care of my patients, but I do teaching all over the world. We do our live video. Hello, we've had hundreds of thousands of viewers all around the world. Doctors, student, the lay public. I train other doctors. I go to the national scientific meetings and I do trainings. Companies fly me out and say, can you come train our doctors? And I even have my own program. Tomorrow, we have our Practice Profitability MD, where I'm teaching doctors how to run their practices so that they can learn. And it's all about service. It's all about kindness. It's all about systems. And there's some very good doctors out there, they just don't know how to run the process. So we're teaching them that. So I'm very excited and very grateful to be here and share with you what we can do so you can make the right decision. Do you follow me on this? Okay, so we're going to do some more before and after pictures here. And as I said before, we will be doing one-on-one. So before you leave today, even though there's a lot of people, we'll get a chance to sit with you and put a plan together. So before you leave, you will know what is right for you, long-term goals. Sally's a swimmer. She is very active. She did laser treatment to the face and the lift, and it looks natural. It's not overdone. Difficult to see where we made that incision. She brings donuts to the office when she comes in, so we love seeing Sally. Mary had been wanting to do the lift for many years. She came to an event very similar to this, and she was ready to go, but she didn't feel she could get her finances in order. They were all tied up. She lived on a fixed income. She didn't know how to do it. She didn't know how to do it, and she got it done. How? What happened? What was the missing link? So our missing link is Mindy, Violet, and Stephanie. They will figure that out for you. You only need one pathway to success. And we've done this for so many people. You'll be surprised how flexible we can be. There's many ways to do things. So if we can do it for Mary, we can do it for you. Now, this next before and after picture I'm going to share with you, I am very, very proud of this result. It really uses the latest technology, all of my years of experience doing over 3,500 face-lifting procedures, and the power of smile, all in one result. I'm very proud to share this with you. Didn't we do a great job? Magical. Now let me ask you a question. Actually, that's my daughter when she was in 3rd grade. Now she's in 9th grade and she's going to start driving soon, and I'm still trying to process that. Do you think that we ever have people that come to us and that they want this kind of improvement? We have to talk with them. There's a limit on how far we can go. We can't go this far. We'll take things as far as we can. If we need to come back another day, it's always better than going too far. Do you follow me on this?
Yes.
We will not let you go too far. I will protect you, right? Now, the other thing we think about, most people, we have that inner perfectionist. You know what I'm talking about? We love to have high standards. What do we want? We want everything, the best, and right now, right? Doesn't that sound good? And we can all relate to that. We want to be the practical perfectionist. Don't lose your standards. Let's do the best that we can. But perfectionism in plastic surgery actually can get you into trouble if you're not careful. There's 2 main ways it can get you into trouble. If we're a perfectionist in plastic surgery, we may be driven to try and choose a treatment that goes too far. I will protect you from that. I will not let that happen. Number 1. Okay? Do you follow me on this? Number 2 risk with perfectionism in plastic surgery. We may do a treatment and you get a great result, but we may not be satisfied because our perfectionistic standards are so high. So we want you to be happy. Now, the power of smile, I ask every patient in the consult to smile. And it's practical. When I meet people, and we love making other people smile, let me ask you a question. If I do a consultation with someone, and I cannot get them to smile through the whole consultation, what do you think the likelihood is they're going to smile after we do our very best work? It's pretty low. Now, that's not that common. But it's important. Actually, what's interesting, we talk about this in our book, The Smile Prescription. Everyone actually does have a smile score. Some people, they smile no matter what happens to them, right? And some people, no matter what happens to them, they never smile. So the power of smile, it actually does predict behavior. But the bottom line is, you want a plan you can feel good about. And you know, if we're really hard on ourselves and we're a perfectionist, our smile score is low. You know, we can sometimes be a little hard on ourselves. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, at some point or another, we'd be hard on ourselves. We don't want to be too hard on ourselves. And you know what's interesting? You ever realize how we never see ourselves the way that other people see us? Isn't that interesting? Now, there's a physical reason for that. Physically, when we look at other people, we give them a little bit of facial expression. It's just natural. It's cordial. Physically, when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we go flat like a stone. And our brain lets us think, well, that's how other people see me, right? No, because if they did, they'd see this, and it's rude to be flat with other people. They think you're angry with them. So we don't want to be too hard on ourselves, and we don't. The formula for feeling bad about our appearance is really simple. Look at yourself flat. Most people don't like that. The formula for feeling good about yourself is pretty simple. You smile in the mirror. You say, hey, look at that, looking good. Right? I can help you look younger. The smile is important. Do you understand? Does it make sense how important the smile is and what we're talking about? So we will use that. We will go through, and that way we make sure we get your best result, that you look natural, and we want you to be happy. We can't go that far, but we'll take things as far as we can. Melba is here today. Melba called this her Richard Nixon jowls. We did a lift for Melba. She did laser treatment. It's difficult to see the incision location. She also did an eyelid treatment, and we did a touch-up procedure for her. And she looks natural. Right? You'll hear from Melba a little bit later. Jeannie is a nurse. We have a lot of medical personnel that come through because most people don't want a traditional facelift. I have an outside consulting firm. They monitor our practices because you always want to be raising your standards. Local anesthesia is safer, less risk, less expense. Okay? So that's why medical personnel come through, because they don't want to go to a hospital where there's already sick people. Men come through and see that it's like the jowl is draping over the jawline, and now we've tightened that back up. And very difficult to see that incision location through there. Now you notice this little brown spot he's got here? Can you see that over here? It's right tucked up by his earlobe here. Get it pulled all the way back. And here he is smiling. We always look our best when we smile. Mary came in, she got a big improvement in her neckline here. But we did the first treatment and she wasn't satisfied. She came back, we did a touch-up procedure, and we took a little more skin. And she was happy. So if we need to come back another day and do more, that is better than going too far, right? And she's a great example of that. Now her story was her grandson, when she would visit with her grandson, she loved to play with her grandson. And when she would see him, he would come sit on her lap, he would take his little hand and grab her neck and pull it back and forth. She hated that. Now he doesn't have anything to hold on to. Al, I show Al's pictures because when I offer the lifting procedures, there's 3 types of lifts that we offer. The image lift is the most that I will do under local anesthesia. It takes me a couple of hours to do. We give you relaxing medicine by mouth, numbing medicine like at the dentist's office, lift the skin, tighten the muscle, trim away the extra skin. Physical versus social downtime. Physically, we get back into our routine within a day or 2. Errands, shopping, things around the house. Socially, we tend to pass the grocery store test. 7 to 10 days, where you walk into the grocery, no one really does a double take. Okay? Some are a little less, some are a little bit more. So the image lift helps to tighten your profile. Now I offer something a little less than that. I call it the mid lift. Still tightens your profile. Okay? A little less recovery, great result. We always go for the gold no matter what you choose. And it does help you in this area along with the jawline. And then there's the mini. Now the mini is correct. If someone tells me, you know, I really like this, and this doesn't bother me. Or if someone tells me, you know, if I do the lift and there's something here, I mean, that just, I'm okay with that. That's someone who's a good candidate for the mini. So I told Al, because he had this extra tissue under here, I said, we should probably do the image lift or the mid lift. And he said, just do the mini. Just, I'll be happy with that. Do the best you can. And I did the mini for him. And he's happy. But some of our patients would not be happy because he still has a little bit here. That's why the one-on-one is so important, so that you can choose something that's right for you. Perfectionism is not our friend. We want to have a very high standard. I'm as perfectionistic as I can be, and we want you to look natural. So that's what we did for Al, and that was the right choice for him. Laser tightening. No stitches, no cutting away of skin. That's 1 day later. There's no physical downtime. When we take away this tissue, we remove the fat, and we tighten the skin. So that's the next day, no physical downtime, 4 to 7 days of swelling. Monica is 6 months later, 6 or 8 months later. Filler in the corner of the mouth and in the cheek. Monica came on TV to demonstrate her results, no stitches. So we have the laser tightening. It does do a good job. It's not for everyone, but it is a good option for many people. Now, nothing will give you the same result as the image lift. That's a year after the image lift. Difficult to see the incision locations. Looks natural. Nancy was also a caregiver. Judy combined. So there's 3 strategies we use to tighten. Laser to tighten the skin because we lose the elasticity in our skin. It's like the elastic band that gets stretched out and doesn't fit so well anymore. Laser tightens the skin. Lift tightens the muscle. Lift to remove the extra skin. So we did that for Judy. We did that for Debbie. She has a radio show. She's a fitness instructor. She sent us a lot of her friends and clients. Laser for the skin, lift for the muscle, lift to remove the extra skin. RJ is an actress. She's in television movies. I've had politicians come through. We've had media personalities. They know they must look natural, especially in today's world of HD television. Now, some of you may have brought your photos when you're younger. If you have them, great. If you don't have them, it's not mandatory. But when you see those pictures, you can see how the volume in our face changes. We physically lose bone as we get older. We even get a little bit shorter. You know what I'm talking about? Now, if you take your finger and just feel your brow, you can feel the bone here, feel the bone in your cheek, and feel the bone in the back of your jawline. Even in the chin, all of those prominences, they get a little smaller. They get a little shorter and erode, and the facial mask will sag over top. So what do? Well, we'll do some tightening, but if you reinflate with fillers, it's a great adjunct to the lifting procedures. Fillers don't replace a lift, and a lift does not replace fillers, but they do very well together. Fillers are the future of plastic surgery. There's no downtime. We have permanent fillers, looks natural, right? The results are great. So they couldn't used to get these types of results years and years past. We're really excited to share with you the latest in what can be done. So, and notice how she's hollow here because we lose that bone. We did lift and fill combination. Back of the jawline, hollowing, lost the bony structure, lift and fill. Liz is 18 here and she's 70 here, hollow, jowling, lift and fill. Fillers, no downtime, they do a great job. Now this patient loved her results. She came back 6 months later. She said, well, I love my fillers, but now they're all gone. So we look at her pictures, and as she's looking, she says, oh, well, I didn't realize they were that deep before. There's a famous plastic surgery saying that after we do a cosmetic treatment, our vision will get better and our memory gets worse. Because when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're going to look at yourself so closely after treatment and notice one brow is a little different than the other, and we have more wrinkles on one side than the other. And our memory gets worse because we usually forget what we used to look like. It's like when we get our hair cut. After we get a haircut or new hairstyle, a few weeks later, we forget what the old hairstyle used to look like. That's the new us. So the vision gets better, the memory gets worse. That's why the before and after pictures are so helpful. Full face fillers. This is the long-term fillers. This is 7 syringes in the cheeks and around the face. We won awards for these results. We also took the mole off of her cheek. Many patients say, I really like her results. Some people are not satisfied until they do a second session. This gentleman did 16 syringes, 2 sessions, less than 30 days, no downtime. It looks natural. He's not overdone. You are not going to get these results in these options in most offices that you visit. They just don't know how. A lot of people out there, they know how to do fillers, they know how to do facelifts and facial plastic surgery. But that doesn't mean that they're an expert in it. So you always want to make sure you're choosing the best. The face is sacred. You only want the best for your face. Laser treatment for the mouth. If the lipstick runs into the lipstick lines, into the lip lines, laser is burned to the skin. You need 7 to 10 days. You don't want to see people. That's not for everyone, but some patients will start with the laser. So we'll talk about that in the one-on-one if that's of interest to you. This is my Aunt Shirley. She's in her 70s, 72 here, and this was about 6 or 8 weeks after her procedure. She's almost 80 now. She was 76 in the first picture. Now she's in her 80s. And her grandson recently got married, and her daughter, the mother of the groom, had her lift done, and then we were at the wedding. There's Aunt Shirley. That was just this year. So we're so proud of Aunt Shirley. She's still going strong. She was dancing that night. She was out there having fun and looking good. Phyllis called these her waffles.
Wow.
She did the lift and the laser. It looks natural, looks good, and she loves to smile. So let me ask you a question. Have you seen some results that you like so far?
Oh, yeah.
Would you be happy if you had results similar to what you've seen? Okay, you've come to the right place. So I like to talk about why we do these types of treatments. And I found that this is really about quality of life. Now, if you live in or near the villages, we know about quality of life, right? How many of you here are from up north? Do we have to ask why you moved down south? The quality of life is higher here. When we live up north, people move down south, and their quality of life, it goes up. Now, when our faces start to go down south, you just pull it right back up north. The quality of life, it goes up. But this is also about the patterns that we have. It amazes me how humans have patterns. You know how we can go on an autopilot? You know what I'm talking about? Right? When we're driving, you ever have that experience? You're driving, you get into your driveway at your house, and then you think to yourself, I can't even remember the past 5 or 10 minutes I was driving, right? It just happened. I hope I didn't embarrass myself. I hope I didn't run the stoplight. We were on autopilot. You put the clothes in the car, and we're going to drop it off at the cleaners, right? And as we're driving, we go right by the cleaners because we're on autopilot. Everyone has an autopilot or pattern when we look into a mirror. That's my job, is to watch people looking in the mirror. And we go through things together. And when we look in the mirror, we tend to look at the exact same places we always look at. We tend to say the same things to ourselves. When did I start looking like my mother, father, brother? And it tends to make us feel the same way. It's a pattern. It's an autopilot. So I want to ask you, this is Dale. What do you think her pattern was, her autopilot was, when she would look in the mirror? What did she focus on? Knowing she had lost her youthful appearance, what did she say to herself? And more importantly, how did it make her feel?
Was this her before picture?
This was before we met Dale.
Right.
Dale came in, she did a laser image lift, she did fillers, she did eyelid treatment, and she did a touch-up procedure. Do you think she has a different pattern
Yeah.
when she looks into the mirror now?
Wow.
What does she focus on now? What does she say to herself? And more importantly, how does it make her feel? Dale came to many of our events like this, and she would share her experience, and she inspired so many people to do their treatments. I'm sad to say Dale is no longer with us. She was diagnosed with a condition. She passed very quickly, and yet she is still an inspiration to us. She inspires our smiles because she's always been a great smiler. And she inspires us to remember to live for today. Tomorrow's not promised for any of us. So we are very grateful for Dale, her impact she had in our lives. And we're very grateful for the inspiration that she continues to give us to this day. Everything in life evolves. If you told people 30, 40 years ago what these devices can do today, what would they have said? It's not real. It's magic. But not only is it real, these things keep getting outdated. Right? They're going to be, in a year or two, there's a new one that's even better. What else has evolved? Have grandparents evolved? What were grandparents like 30, 40 years ago? Grandparents today, they're hip, they're athletic. They're raising their grandkids. Some of them are still working. Plastic surgery has also evolved. You do not want to be doing old-fashioned plastic surgery. The results we get are far superior now. Safer, more affordable. The tools are better, the training is better. There really has never been a better time to do a cosmetic treatment. That's why we're excited to be here. We do 3 or 4 events every month. And we're excited to share with you the latest in facial plastic surgery. Sherry comes out to a lot of our events as well. She did an event, Bev had laser treatment to the neck and the jawline, tightening, no stitches. Jen helps us to set up these events. Jen has been working on our team for about 8 years. She did a lift as well. Linda comes out to a lot of our events, full of volume when she's younger, sun damage and sagging skin. We did the lift and fill. Looks natural, it's not overdone. She came on TV to demonstrate her results, and she was always telling everyone, she would say, I had the Cadillac, because she had the lift, she had the laser, she had the fillers. And when she came on TV to talk about her results, and the host saw her pictures, and she says, I had the Cadillac done. He says, you didn't have the Cadillac. He said, you had the Bentley. Right? You had the best. So she's very proud of her result. Nancy's here today, and see we tighten up in the jawline. We want to get improvement, make it better. You don't want to make it perfect, and you will look natural. Look at the neck and jawline and through these areas. Big change. You will look natural. So I like to talk about, people get this far and they say they're ready to go. Some people may say, but this is a list of things that patients have told us. This is what holds them back. If you see something on this list, let us know. You'd be amazed how flexible we can be. If you think it's the finances, just talk to us. We put a plan together. Some people start, they jump in with 2 feet. Some say, well, let me start here, and I'll do this. There's many ways to do this and break it down so we can make the finances work for you. Or your schedule's busy. You've got mahjong, you've got pickleball, you're traveling, you've got cruise you're going on, family coming from out of town. If you're busy and have no downtime, great. We have treatments for you. If you have downtime, great. We can schedule and make the right plan for you. Some of you are allergic to pain. We will make you feel comfortable. You know, when my niece was 3 years old, she fell and she got a gash right in the middle of her forehead. I get the calls for that. She came into the office, put some ice, we numbed her up, and we did the stitches. She did not shed one tear. And I promise you, if I can make my 3-year-old niece comfortable, I promise you we'll make you feel comfortable too. And you can have a lollipop too, like she did. Okay? We take the fear out of it. When people watch our videos on Facebook, and we're on Facebook now, they say, well, you make patients feel so comfortable. I like how you explain things. You get the hang of it after a few thousand. I've done over 10,000 cosmetic syringe injections in the face. You learn a thing or two. Okay? Some people say, I'd love to do it. It would just be so selfish. I don't know if I can see myself spending that money on myself. And a lot of you mentioned you raised your family. Now it's time to put you first. But we can't really pour from an empty cup. Being selfish is being smart. And it's important. I have 3 kids. My daughter's 15 now. My boys are 11 and 10. And they need to see my wife and I, they need to see us investing in us. Because if they see us dragging on gas fumes, trying to give, and you're just, they will pick up those habits too. And invest in yourself. Being selfish is being smart, and then you can give even more than what you thought was possible. Now, are your family and friends, are they going to talk about you for doing a cosmetic treatment? They're going to talk about you no matter what you do. You might as well do what you want. So don't worry about those things. This is about you. This is what we talk about in a consultation. What are your areas of focus? What's important to you? It's different for everyone. What's in your heart? It can get overwhelming or confusing at times. If that happens to you, just let us know. And asking that question will clarify. What's in your heart? What do you really want? We don't want anything to stand in the way of what your heart wants. When you give someone what their heart wants, and that's what we want to do for you. That's why we're here. That's why it's so much fun doing what we do. Because we get to give people what they really want in their heart. What's in your heart? What else have you tried? And did it work? If you've never done a treatment, great. If you've done treatments, let us know. Almost every day, I will see a patient that has had a treatment done somewhere they're not happy with, and they want me to fix it or they want me to make an improvement on it. Better to do it the right way the first time. So let us know if you've done treatments before. We can still work with you. You have downtime available, yes or no? We'll schedule around it. If you have no downtime, you have no downtime treatment options. That's what we talk about in the consultation. Safety first. Now, the ImageLift is an office-based procedure. Risk involved, we minimize that as much as possible. Bleeding or fluid collection, we take care of that in the office. Infection, we put you on an antibiotic. Damage to surrounding structures, risk of a weak lip or eyelid is uncommon, and that's rare that would be permanent. It's less of a risk than a traditional facelift because we stay more superficial in an attempt to avoid that. Sometimes a deep stitch we put in can come out of the skin like a splinter. If that happens, that's easy for us to take care of. Now, everyone's face has asymmetry. My right eyebrow sits higher than my left. I tell all my patients, your face will still have asymmetry afterwards. That's what makes us look natural. I do everything under local anesthesia. So, like at the dentist's office. So the risk that someone has to go to a hospital, have a heart attack or stroke is rare. That's why we do it this way. This is safer than IV sedation. It's safer than general anesthesia. When you do the lift, the ears can be numb afterwards. When the nerves grow back, you might feel itching, tingling, soreness, or pain. Most will say it's numb, I don't really notice it, it's getting better, and it goes away. And some people may feel a little stitch, sometimes can surface like a splinter, and if that happens, easy to take care of. And then the healing process is unpredictable. Most people heal just fine. Some people will choose to do a touch-up or an additional treatment, may generate an additional expense. That's more the case like Mary, where she had a really big neck. We did a nice procedure and cleaned things up, but she wanted more. We came back and did a touch-up, and I will tell you in the one-on-one if your risk for that is low, medium, high. Okay? Now, fillers. What are the risks for the fillers? Risk of undercorrection. If we undercorrect, you can always come back and put more in. Risk of overcorrection, we go conservatively, I'm not going to overcorrect you. Risk of lump or bump formation is uncommon. If that happens, it's treatable. Most people feel their skin where they had the filler, and they say, you know, I know the filler's there, I just don't feel it. It feels natural. Some say, well, I do feel something, but I don't see it, and it doesn't bother me. I leave it alone. Rarely do I make an incision to take a nodule out. My strategy, use a small amount over a large area to minimize or eliminate your risk for that. I use a safety cannula when I do the injections. What is a cannula? It's basically a soft needle, less trauma, less bruising. Risk of getting that filler into a blood vessel, causing scarring, loss of vision, damage to surrounding structures is rare. Risk of infection, reaction, prolonged swelling is rare, and that's treatable. So that's what we talk about for safety for these procedures. Safety first. We want to make sure you have a great outcome and a great experience. We love to reward people who take action. So putting a deposit towards an image lifting procedure, Mindy, what are we?
$250.
We're doing $250 off towards an image lift procedure when you place a deposit during the event. So we love to reward people who take action. We love getting referrals. We get referrals almost every day. And I've discovered that you should never tell your family and friends that they need to see a facial plastic surgeon. Doesn't go over well. So instead, we have Dana over there. Dana, can you raise your hand? Let's give Dana a big hand. Dana is our skincare expert, esthetician, and she's excellent and amazing, just tell your friends that they need to go in and see Dana. She'll give them a free facial mask and a free skincare analysis. And then when they come in, we can have the talk with them at that time. So this way you didn't tell them they need to see a facial plastic surgeon. I'm going to answer questions. Then we're going to have Pat and Melba and Nancy. There she is. We're going to have Nancy come up as well and talk a little bit. What questions can I answer about what we've talked about? Yes, go ahead.
Priscilla Presley.
Yes.
She had the fillers.
Did too much.
Yeah, is that what happened with her? Or
She did too much. So what happens? How do we go too far? Perfectionism? Because if someone comes in and say, I did the filler, but I want to do a little more. I just want a little more, then they've done too much. When you go to the right expert, that doesn't happen. At some point, you got to say, okay, that's it. Now, come see me in 6 months or a year. If we have some aging changes, maybe we'll tweak on that. So the doctor, number one, don't be a perfectionist. All right? Like I said, this is a big world. There are 300 million people in the United States. There are way too many people doing injections. So if you have someone who's not as skilled or qualified, that can happen. That's why I'm here. It's almost like a public service. Please don't do what Priscilla Presley did, right? We are protecting people from that happening. So thank you for asking that. That will not happen here. That's why I'm here. Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead.
Fillers, do they go away, or do they?
Some of them do. Thank you for your question. Some go away and some are permanent. There are 3 questions to ask with the fillers. Number 1, where? Some want them in a certain place, some want the full face. Number 2, which filler? Temporary, permanent. Some people start with the temporary, see, make sure I like it. You can convince yourself that you like it. Some say, I want the long term. I don't want to keep replacing the fillers. The most expensive filler is the temporary filler. You have to keep replacing it. Once you do fillers long enough, everybody says the same thing. Don't you have something that lasts longer? I have some patients, they don't feel comfortable with long-term fillers, then I say, don't do them. They say, well, what happens in 10 years? The fillers stay there, they create a good foundation. If you take anyone's face and age them for 10 years, 10, 20 years, we already know the result. We don't like it. If you have the fillers there, it's a better foundation. Do you follow me? Okay. First question, where? Second question, which filler? We have short-term, we have permanent fillers. Third question, how much of that filler? And then I, as the artist, will guide you. Here's where you need to use. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Yes, go ahead.
So what is a permanent filler made up of, which stays in your skin?
Permanent filler is a Bellafill. It's made up of collagen, and it's made up of PMMA spheres. They're 30 to 50 micron spheres. The PMMA is a substance used in the medical industry since the 1940s. Very safe track record. It's used in orthopedics. It's used in hold heart valve in place. It's used in the eye. And since 2006, it's been FDA approved. It has 3 FDA approvals, 3 for use in the face. And so it's very safe, and we've got great results with it. Most patients want that. But if someone says, I don't know if I feel comfortable, then I tell them, I say, don't do it. But patients come to me and say, don't you have something that lasts longer? And I do. So as long as you know your options, you can choose what's right for you. Do you follow me? Okay.
And it stays in place. It
Stays in place.
move.
It does not move when you inject it correctly. You use a small amount over a large area. You don't want to inject a lot just in one area. It does not effectively move. Some people say, it moves. When you inject it there, it stays. It does not have an ability to move. It pretty much stays right where you inject it, when you have the right person injecting it. Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead.
Where are the surgical procedures performed?
So it's an office-based procedure. We have an operative suite in our office. So that's why I have an outside consulting firm. They come in, they monitor all of our practices. Safer, we monitor blood pressure, we monitor oxygen, we monitor heart rate. Most importantly, we monitor the patient. So it's done in the office.
And where is that office?
We have an office here in the Villages, and we have one in Tampa.
And what other staff are on staff during the procedure?
So we have our team of our surgical technicians, then they're myself. Now, under local anesthesia, it's like at the dentist's office. So for some patients, we get a note from their doctor saying, here's what we're planning, is that okay? All right? And that way, if someone's really high risk, we're not going to do it, but I can almost always do something for someone. So this is not general anesthesia. No surgical staples, no surgical drains, no IV sedation, no general anesthesia. So I'm taking care of you. I've got my team there. We have emergency equipment. We don't use it, but we've got it on standby. But we screen patients ahead of time to make sure that they're a good candidate.
Because I just can't imagine this surgically under local anesthesia.
So if you go to YouTube, I have put hundreds of videos, maybe even probably thousands of videos. Live broadcast. There's no editing. There's no filters. Local anesthesia, face lifting procedures. It's out there.
I can tell her I stayed awake during mine.
And she stayed awake.
Even go to sleep.
But I don't want to.
Now some people, they don't remember any of it. And some, they talk the whole time. Our bottom line is, we will make you feel comfortable. Now those are very good questions. Now what we're going to do, because we're going to start with the one-on-ones in a little bit, and thank you very much for your question. And before you leave, you get all of your questions answered. Because there's a lot of people here, if you need more of my time, we were glad to make that available to you. So thank you for your questions. And what we're going to do, Nancy and Pat and Melba, why don't you ladies come up in the interest of time, and we'll hear from you. Let's give these ladies a big hand. Thank you so much today. Nancy, I'm going to have you stand right over here, and then hello. And we'll start out with Nancy. So Nancy, can you share with us what inspired you to have a cosmetic treatment performed?
My husband passed away. I had lost a lot of weight, and 2 years before my husband passed away, I nursed my dad for 8 months. And I can tell you, as a caregiver, it makes you tired, it makes you feel old, and it drains you. And I woke up one morning, I looked at this old lady, and I said, this should not be me. And if you think that the staff here does not work on finances, it took me 5.5 months to get everything organized so that I can have my procedure. And to address your medical concern, I was a former healthcare professional. Safety was paramount. Every case scenario that you could imagine, Dr. Rich and his staff has addressed. You get your antibiotics, you get your medication before, you get medication just in case, so that when you are in his office for the first time, ready for your procedure, everything that you need, you could even imagine, is with you. Dr. Rich calls you right after that in the afternoon, he calls you before you go to sleep, and you see him again the next morning. And he gives you his cell phone. I don't know many doctors that do that. We've addressed safety, and I don't consider this selfish. I consider that an investment in me. We've invested in our children, we've invested in our husbands, and it was just my time, and it's not selfish, because I feel by looking better, I have a whole new lease on my life and a whole new perspective. And that's it.
Let's give you
Dr. Rich,
So Pat, can you share with them? We're going to take some more. Yes.
can Nancy share exactly what she had done and how long ago, please?
I had a procedure
We did a mini lift procedure.
a year ago, July. I had permanent fillers done. I had my neck done.
Mini lift, yeah.
Okay. I just had some more fillers done.
Temporary or permanent?
No. I don't, my opinion, and you're just going to have to redo it.
Me too.
Well, aging keeps coming. The fillers do stay. That's a very good point. The fillers stay. The body keeps aging. That's a very good point. So if you want to keep that up, people do come back for more. But if you do the temporary fillers, you have to completely replace all of that, whereas the Bellafill stays with you. Does that make sense? Okay, that's a very good question. So Go ahead. But in the interest of time, go ahead.
Did I answer your
Yes, you
question?
did. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And they're going to be available as well. But I want to make sure we get enough time for everyone. So thank you for asking that, and thank you very much, Nancy. And so Pat, thank you for sharing. What was it that inspired you to have a cosmetic treatment?
What inspired me was, I know everybody knows about a gobbler that hangs down. Well, that was hereditary in my family. My grandmother's had them. My mother didn't. My sister has one, and I just thought, I don't want to look like that. I want to do something to get rid of this to make me have my profile back. And I had the midlift done. And I'm very fair-skinned, so my downtime was a little bit longer than natural people. But it was maybe 7 to 10 days at the most. But Dr. Rick, he takes good care of you. He always checks on you to make sure you're doing well. And if you are going to do fillers, I also have had fillers. I had very deep puppet lines, they call them, marionette lines, and I have had Bellafill in them. And that's been, my surgery was about 4 years ago, and Bellafill has been for 2 years, and I just love it. And I think if you're going to do anything for yourself, do this.
Okay, and Melba, thank you for coming out today, Melba. Can you share with us what inspired you to have a cosmetic treatment?
Actually, I never gave it any thought. I mean, I didn't even look in the mirror. I put on lipstick and I was out the door. But my friend Dale, who was very concerned about the way she looked, had a treatment. She had the lift and the no, she didn't. We did the laser.
We did the laser afterwards, yeah.
But she had a lift, and she came back to our clogging group, and she looked fantastic. And she did not want to tell anybody what she had done. So I bugged her for quite a while, and she did let me know what she had done and brought me to one of Dr. Castellano's seminars. So I had the medium lift, which is now a mid-lift, and I had the upper eyelids done. And I had this done in December of 2009. And then in March, Dale and I went back to Tampa. We didn't have a place here at the time.
That was before we were doing procedures here. Yeah.
So we went back to Tampa and we had the laser done. And I have to tell you that this made a major difference in my life because we were dancing for a show team, and then we actually all of a sudden looked up for it. I'm 79 now, and I give Dr. Castellano a lot of credit in my attitude as well as my looks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love hearing our patients talk about what they have done, and they really are a part of the family. And so now we're going to do the raffle drawing. So they're going to bring out some food, and we're going to do a raffle drawing, and we're going to do the one-on-ones. And we're raffling off one syringe. Is it one syringe of the Radius? Radius, okay. So everybody who walked through the door was registered. If you walked in, everybody was registered. So let's see, this one feels very lucky here. This says Eileen Zabrowski. Eileen Zabrowski. Where's it? There she is. So Eileen, congratulations. All you have to do is call the office to set up an appointment, and we'll get you taken care of. So congratulations. Now, we're going to do one more raffle drawing when we have 3 more consults to see. So what we're going to do, Charlene, why don't you go ahead and start seating the first, and we're ready to get started. So the food will come out, we'll be doing the one-on-ones, and I promise we will get a time to chat with you and talk with you. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and thank you for sharing your smiles, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you. Oh, well, good. I saw us online before. Congrats, that's awesome. That's a $9.95. I like to hear it. It is, but you can use it towards it if you don't want it.
Ah!